In order to keep her act up, she continued to tie her face even when her scar was not as bad as it had been, just to let Queen Tati believe she was having her way with her. This gave the queen a false sense of security and made her feel like she was winning. People continued to tease her and she slowly grew immune to the looks and the mockery. After all, the people who mattered to her did not seem to mind. At least that was what she thought. Lalia had started becoming quite close to her master's son. His name is Nayo Soyinka. He was the only close male friend Lalia had, so she was very fond of him since the very first day they met. He was a few years older than her and he trained together with her and had a great admiration for her abilities. The way she easily mastered his father's ways and sometimes invent her own methods like his father left Nayo in awe of her. And just like her slave friends, he was very protective of her and was always at her defense whenever she was being teased or mocked by people. Nayo liked Lalia a lot, but he only saw her as a sister and a friend. But Lalia had other ideas. Lalia was beginning to get very fond of Nayo after all. He was the only close male friend she had ever had and naturally she had begun to grow feelings for him. Her feelings were not helped by the fact that he was always telling her that she looked pleasant despite the awful scar on her face. She would always untie her face whenever she was with him and made sure her hair was perfectly braided by her friends. Lalia was always trying her best to look good in his presence, always trying to impress him, just so she can get a compliment from him, which he seemed to be quite generous with. One evening, Sukam was braiding Lalia's hair behind her quarters, and the other girls made beaded necklaces for Lalia to wear to impress Nayo. Lalia had requested to have some water and Lilo had gone to fetch her some water. Tongo was suffering from a serious drought. It had been going on for 2 years now, going 3, and the people of the Tongu kingdom had not seen even a drop of rain for all those years. This was however predicted by the gods earlier, so the people were somewhat prepared and had stores of grains and yams to last them a long time. Water had become very precious to the people of Tongu, and as the months went by, it became scarcer and their food supplies dwindled. The whole kingdom believed that the coming of the sacred dance to be performed to the water goddess will change their fortunes. When Lilo brought the jug of water, Lalia let her friends drink first before she helped herself to some, as she was sure they wouldn't be spared some once they are out of her quarters. After all these years, Lalia kept her promise to her mother to never remove her earrings. She would wear different types of beads around her neck and wrist, but never did she attempt to remove the handmade earrings her mother had given to her. They were the only things she had of her mother, so she treasured them and always kept them on her ears. Lalia had barely laid her jug down when Nayo suddenly came in, walking in through the back of her quarters. He requested to speak with her privately, wearing a very serious look on his face. This made her puzzled and worried. Lalia gestured to her friends for them to leave her alone with Nayo. Nayo politely nodded at them as they left. He too felt a bit bad for the way he approached them and for not greeting them properly, but he had a lot troubling him on his mind. I am sorry for barging in on you all the way I did. It was very rude of me and I apologize. This drought is really taking a toll on my manners, he said to Lalia, who went to fetch him some water. I do hope that, with the sacred dance night fast approaching, we will be safely out of the dreadful clutches of this terrible drought soon enough. Lalia responded, bringing him the water now. But, never mind that. What is it that you wanted to talk to me about? Lalia asked as she passed him the jug of water. She nervously tried adjusting her neck beads. Nayo watched her as she did this, showing the scarless part of her face to her. You look good, he said as she turned to him. She was now really close to him and she had a better look at him and what he was wearing. Nayo is a tall man. He was very huge and fit for a man his age. He was also extremely good looking and attractive.